we still talking about this camera? I like to talk, and I'm driving my life crazy. Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Perry Unfocused. This is not exactly where I thought I would be, but here we are. A little backstory about myself. For the last 10 years, I have had what many would consider a dream job. I was the social media manager and even more recently photographer for Aerosmith. It was great. I got to hang out on the stage and shoot pictures of the band and my dad, and it was a great experience. I got to travel the world. We played sold out arenas all over the place. And not gonna lie, it was pretty amazing. And then in August of 2024, around that time, everything kind of changed. Aerosmith announced their retirement from touring. Poof, went away. So it kind of left me at a crossroads. I didn't know what to do. I've always been huge into food, so I thought maybe I could do a food truck. Started out as doing a trailer that I could pull around, and then kind of snowballed into a food truck, and then maybe to do a restaurant. But the initial investment in that is not something I wanted to do, especially without that extra income coming in. I didn't think it was smart to kind of bleed everything I have from savings. I bought a house a couple years ago, and that would just be very devastating if it didn't work out. So what else can I do? Could I sell my prints that I've taken, the photography? Maybe I could have done something like that. Back in the day, I used to have a little barbecue sauce company. Could I go back to that? Long story short, nothing really clicked. So where does that leave me, and why are we here now? So for the longest time, I've always kind of had the gift of gab. I can talk somebody's ear off. I mean, when I sit and have a conversation with my wife, talking about whatever new Sony camera is coming out, I see the glazed look, deer in the headlights, come over her face. And after about 10, 15 minutes, she'll look at me and she goes, "Wait, are we still talking about this camera?" Yeah, I've always just had the gift of gab, I guess you could say. And being older now and living through the 90s tech boom and that bubble exploding, I've always been on the internet. I used to be a network engineer back in the day, so I've always kind of been a techie, and it's been a big chunk of my life. So I started a blog, like everybody did back in the day, and nobody read it, but it was a lot of fun. I tried doing podcasts. Not many people listened, but I had fun doing it. Then I did a blog again, and that one was kind of good. It was very cynical. I have a very ridiculous, sarcastic Boston sense of humor that kind of rubs people the wrong way. 90% of it seemed like I was complaining when I wasn't. I even had family and friends say, "Why are you so angry?" Because I guess I couldn't read the tone in the text, so it just came off as very snarky. And then during the lockdowns, I was doing Instagram lives, and it kind of started off like I was thinking to myself, like, oh, maybe I want to do a cooking show. Let's try and do some lives. So I did, and it was a blast. I had so much fun, and I would just sit and, it started off where I'd be cooking and I'd be talking about the food, and it kind of slowly morphed into, it didn't matter what I was cooking. It was just a place for people to come hang out, have conversations. I would read the comments and comment on the comments, or people would ask about my opinions. And since it was live before the algorithm got really hardcore at muting music, I would play, music in the background and sing and make fun of lyrics. And it was just a good time. And it was something that I think, a lot of people kind of resonated with people during the lockdown, being stuck in their house and not being able to go out. It was a way to connect and kind of have a kinship with people. And that got me thinking, okay, I have all this great equipment from my years of doing social media for the band. I have microphones, and I have cameras, and I have lenses, and I have tripods, and I have lights. And it's just kind of collecting dust. So I was like, okay, let me go through my head and figure out what kind of channel I want to do. Do I want to do cooking? And I was like, yeah, I've always loved cooking, and then I thought, well, what about tech? I always love tech, and, maybe I could review tech, or, maybe I could help people with photography and, talk about, what cameras I use and what lenses I use and things like that. And And then there was even a point where I was like, you know what? I'm really into like 3D printing. I'm like so ADD. My brain is always all over the place. It's like one minute I want to do 3D printing. The next minute I want to paint like Warhammer miniatures. The other minute I want to talk about cameras. The next minute I want to, cook something. So back to the name of the channel, Perry Unfocused. This channel is going to be pretty much all of that. I plan on doing lives, which I'm really looking forward to because I want to do some Q&A stuff and get back to that kind of hangout. I want to do some cooking stuff. I might even do that live, or maybe I'll just do a semi-produced video doing food. Don't let this whole setup fool you to think that this is a professional channel. It is far from a professional channel. I have this set up in a guest room right now, and if I could show you the behind the scenes, I have a mattress about 2 feet away from the camera up against the wall. I have a light blaring in my face. I do have this camera. The light, the red one over there, is just a hue light that I had laying around that I put on a lamp outside a frame. There's piles of blankets behind me on the floor that you can't see. There's equipment all over the place. This is far from professional. It may look it may sound it because of kind of my experience, but anybody could do this. I could have done this same setup with an iPhone and just a little wired mic, and I could have probably made it look like this. So I don't want you to think that this is some professional studio and that oh my God, how would I ever be able to do a channel like that? Because I kind of want to give people a little inspiration too about it's never too late to change. I'm 52 years old. My life got upended in August. I took off to the first of the year trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I'm taking a jump and trying this YouTube thing. Who knows if it'll work out? It might not. But I told myself I'm going to try it. I'm going to upload videos. I'm going to do lives. And I'm just going to have a lot of fun with it and see where it goes. I'm trying to think, what else should I say? I have a script in front of me right here. I probably should have got a teleprompter, would have made it easier. That would have been fun. But I'm trying to think. Let me look through my script. See, that's what I mean. This is far from professional. So what does that mean for you? Well, one week we may be talking about the latest tech gadget. I wrote out the script. It's super cheesy. I'm not going to lie. That's why I'm not sticking to it and why I'm not looking down at it. I should have wrote bullet points because that's the way my ADD brain works. Back to just being unfocused. That's what this channel's about. That's what I'm about. I have a million things I want to do. And instead of instead of being pigeonholed, instead of being locked down to one specific thing on this channel, like cooking or, like I said, tech or photography or hobbies, or I may even set this up and do some like podcast stuff. I have a lot of people in the music industry, especially behind the scenes, and I would love to interview my dad's guitar tech or the lighting director or a sound guy or maybe another photographer. I've had a lot of contacts over the years with people, and I think that would be fun. But I don't want it to be just that, and I don't want it to be just about my past life, and I don't want it to be about anything specific. I want to just go out there. I want to have fun, and so if you made it this far, I guess I should be cheesy now and say something like, subscribe, hit that bell, or don't, whatever. Yeah, that's really it. That's the gist of my channel. That's what I'm thinking of doing. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards, and we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to challenge myself to do maybe one video like this, like a talking head kind of video a week, and one live a week. I think 2 videos a week is doable. I'm not going to give myself too much pressure, but I want to do this for the next couple months and kind of see where it goes. I'm not even expecting people to watch it. I need to do something, and this is I think this is a good fit because, like I said, I'm always all over the place, and I like to talk, and I'm driving my wife crazy by just talking her ear off. So you guys are now the lucky ones to be at the receiving end of my mind. So thanks for coming. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope to see you guys again. And yeah, that's it. I don't know how to end this, so I'm going to say that is all. Carry on.